First. Yeah. So I created the first yes. I said, this is good. So she knows the story. First. Yeah. So I created the first.
One of the things that we do when we find a crash site is we hold a flag ceremony, and Jim's captured that, and you'll see one picture with 3 flags. That's for one flag for each family from the Avenger that Bud flew in. So this flag has literally been over the crash site. And the way that we do this is that if there's an active duty military person with us, and particularly in the service, we have that person hold the flag. Since Flip is a retired Navy aviation, we asked Flip to hold the flag until we could deliver it today. And so Flip has the flag, and we're going to deliver that to you.
And the flag ceremony really commemorates the start of this journey home. That was your flag.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My cousin Cindy chose this song. When I'm down and oh my soul's so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdens me, then I sing and I wait here in the silence till you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
So, Sister Marianne, you told me a story not too long ago. I know there's a lot of stories, but no, you asked me to get you something. You remember what you asked me to get you?
My brother's Purple Heart.
Exactly.
Did you?
So here, it's not the same exact Purple Heart, but it's what I can get for you now. So.
Thank you. Can I put it in there so I don't lose it?
Oh, absolutely, you can.
Oh, wait, is that
Set it right in there, that way you can see it. Here, you know what, why don't we take it out of the package?
No.
No? There we go.
As I think I glimpse eternity, you raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. Raise me
Cindy asked us to say a few words, and I really couldn't say words by myself in the sense that everybody standing here played a direct role in terms of getting your Uncle Bud here today. In one form or another, all of us participated. You've heard that we're Project Recover, and all of us are members of the Project Recover team, which is really part of 3 teams. The Scripps Institution of Oceanography in San Diego, the University of Delaware in Lewes, Delaware, and the BentProp Project. I'm the team leader for the BentProp Project. Eric Terrell is the team leader for the Scripps team, and Mark Moline is the team leader for the University of Delaware. Other team members who are here are Drew Pietruska, who's the underwater archaeologist who actually dove on the site as he was an employee with the Department of Defense at the time that he dove initially on the aircraft. Subsequently, he's joined the Project Recover team. Flip Colmer, who's a member of the BentProp Project. Dan O'Brien, who's a member of the BentProp Project, and Derek Abbey, who's a member. All of us have, at one time or another, actually been on the site. You may ask, why do we do this? A lot of people here today have asked that question. And my answer is, and I think each of us have their own reasons, but I feel very fortunate to be an American. I feel that somebody like aviation radioman Rybarczyk gave his life for the freedoms that we enjoy, and our ability to do this allows us to express our gratitude not only for the sacrifices made by Airman Rybarczyk, but also we know the consequent sacrifices made by each and every member of the family. And so it's our way of saying thank you to the family, and a recognition of these sacrifices that are made for us then all the way through today. I would like to ask Eric and Mark as team leaders to say a few words. Eric?
Thank you, Pat. And I'd have to say it was about 15 minutes ago I was told I'd be up in front speaking to you all. I'd always planned just to be quietly standing in the back, a little height advantage to be able to witness and be humbled again by the outpouring of love for Uncle Bud. I hadn't expected to be up here, but just as of the 3 years ago in March 2014, we were very fortunate to be able to find the missing aircraft and the remains of Uncle Bud. Such a humbling day, and it's kind of carried with us as we've gone on to subsequent missions, but we've always held a special place in my heart in terms of one of the first sites that we were found, and really started a journey of being able to provide closure. And so this has been very fortunate for us. As Pat mentioned, why do we do it? We're all on personal journeys, and hopefully those journeys help with providing closure to not only Bud, but to the entire family and surroundings that were impacted by the loss of fellow countrymen during World War II. Happy to be here, joining in prayer. I'd like to mention typically when we find these aircraft, when I'm underwater, I'll often say a short prayer for the missing. Only fitting that 3 years later, we're closing in prayer. Thank you.
I found out 16 minutes ago. I think, I echo both comments that were just made. I'm humbled to be here. When I think of Bud Rybarczyk, Eric touched on it a second ago. It was really the first time that the group as a whole found and located a wreck, and we thought, with the timing of DNA and all that, the process that the Navy goes through to do the correct job, that we were going to be waiting longer, and it's a blessing that it happened this quickly, and that we're here today. When I think of Bud Rybarczyk, again, it was our first find, and represents the first time our group showed coherence, and we could do this pretty well. We've gone on to find a number of other locations, and we hope to sort of provide the same closure to those families as well. Just on a personal note, I know many of you potentially have been on the museum, on the Intrepid Museum in New York. I don't know how many of you guys have been there. Sorry. I brought my 2 sons to that museum, and on the list of the missing in that aircraft hangar is Bud Rybarzyk's name. And at that point, we weren't allowed to share information to anybody, the museum curators that we had located the site, but I knew it in my head. And I remember a moment when I sat down with my 2 children. I told them that we're going to be able to wipe those 2 names off the chart. So to me, that was a real personal experience, and gets to the priest's comments about needing to tell these stories and let the next generation know that we should care, we do care, and we want to continue to work. So thank you for having me, and very humbling. Thank you.
I think that concludes our remarks, but again, thank you for having us today. It's very special to us to be here and share the moment with you. We had our private ceremony over the crash site where we when we first found the aircraft, and we've come to realize that that moment should be captured, because always the family will not know for several years later. Fortunately, it was only 3 years. So all the way from then until now, this allows us to share our story finally with you and with everyone, actually, because Bud Rybarczyk has now been accounted for, and we're just very, very pleased to be here today. Thank you.
name's Jim Gray, and it's great to Before I share a few words with you, I just want to first of all, on behalf of Sister Mary and the entire family, thank all of you for being here today. Particularly, there's a few people I'd like to just acknowledge for with us today. That is Rear Admiral Gene Price. We're honored to have you here with us today. Jim Fernandez, who is the VFW Prisoner of War Missing in Action Director for the state of Michigan, and also the Ben Prop organization, who I'll talk about here momentarily. And last, definitely not least, the Shining House family. We're so honored to have you guys with us. Aviation Radio Man, second class, Albert P. or Bud Rybarczyk was born on March 27th, 1923 in Chicago to Sophie and Albert Rybarczyk. He grew up here in Southwest Michigan. Albert attended St. Joe Catholic High School, where he was active in sports, including football, basketball, and track. My great aunt, Sister Mary Ann, tells us that Bud loved to joke around, was a prankster, and he loved to sleep. Bud graduated from St. Joe Catholic in 1941 and was employed by the Clark Equipment Company in Buchanan, Michigan. Less than a year after graduating from high school, in January of 1942, Bud enlisted in the U.S. Navy. Bud was assigned to the aircraft carrier USS Intrepid, where he served as an aviation radio man, second class. Bud, along with two other crew members aboard the TBM-1C Avenger, torpedo bomber. Those crew members were Pilot Lieutenant Junior Grade John J. Savage and Ordnance Man Ora H. Shining House Jr. Bud served until his death on September 8, 1944. A common phrase that we see throughout our country on t-shirts and billboards, bumper stickers, the words never forget. It's a real common phrase. But I gotta be really honest, it hasn't been until the last few months that has truly started to ring home for me. Our family has recognized how important it is to share Bud's story and the stories of all of those who have served, fought, and for many died serving our country. It was a little over a year ago that the Navy contacted our family and said that they might have found Bud's remains, which was astonishing. They asked for DNA samples, and they were sent, and then it was a little less than a year later that we were contacted and told that those remains were confirmed. And I can't even begin to describe you what that was like for Mary Ann and for our family, and for many others. I'm sure it's the same for the family. But when the Navy came to meet with us initially, we learned of all the details surrounding Bud's death and what had taken place, and they provided us with a historical document that was filled with stuff that we had no idea about. There are copies of letters from my great-grandma to the Navy inquiring about what had happened to her son. We later got copies of letters that my great-grandma and Mr. Shining House's mother were sharing back and forth for years following, trying to console each other. But if you'll allow me to, I'd like to just read a couple things from the historical background of what taken place here. On the 8th of September 1944, the TBM Avenger from the U.S. Navy Torpedo Squadron, VT-18, flew from the USS Intrepid on a bombing mission against Japanese positions on Tabletop Island, Palau. As the aircraft reached the target area, the pilot, Lieutenant Junior Grade John J. Savage, began to dive near Bokarugaru Point. For unknown reasons, the crew released its 2,000-pound bomb at approximately 1,800 feet while diving toward the target. While attempting to pull out of the dive, the bomb hit an ammunition drum. The subsequent explosion tore the tail from the aircraft and sent it crashing into the ocean approximately 50 to 100 yards offshore. Bud was a crew member in Lieutenant Savage's Avenger. All three crew members on board were reported missing in action as a result of the crash. The crew of three were presumed dead on September 9th, 1945. Years after combat operations in the area ceased, the Army Graves Registration Service Philippine Command traveled to Palau to investigate the missing service members and potentially recover them. There's no record indicating that any remains were found. Thereafter, a board of review convened on May 31st, 1949 to recommend the members be declared non-recoverable because of no significant findings involved in the case. On March 5th, 2005, a private organization that searches for World War II aircraft and pilots, along with local Palauan hunters, visited the site of an unidentified crashed Avenger near the Boca Rubaru Point, Babelthorpe Island, Palau. The investigators located an intact outer half of a starboard wing approximately 50 yards from shore. There was no identifying information observed on the wing. The crew took photographs and notes in part of the area. A couple years later, on February 19, 2007, Ben Prop and the Joint POW MIA Accounting Command, or DPAA, formerly JPAC, conducted a survey on the recently discovered unidentified Avenger wing, interviewed local villagers. A local chief indicated that he had seen a metal camera with information on it 2 to 3 years prior to the survey work. The team conducted a thorough search of the area to locate any material that could help identify the aircraft, with no immediate findings. Investigation of the Adventure resumed in 2012 when JPAC researchers located documents pertaining to the VT-18 crash that occurred in early September 1944. These reports provided a witness testimony to the potential whereabouts of the Avenger, after-action reports, and post-war search and recovery operation. These documents created a compelling link between the unidentified Avenger wing found near Boca Rubaru Point and the Avenger, and it prompted an examination of the area offshore for the remainder of the aircraft. Using the aircraft's probable flight path against Japanese positions on this point, the search area was narrowed down. And in March of 2014, the Scripps Institute of Oceanography, in cooperation with the University of Delaware and BentProp, all three organizations represented today, brought out an autonomous underwater vehicle and dive portable sonar to the suspected crash site. After just one full day of searching, on March 24, 2014, the task force located the main body of the aircraft lying flat on the ocean floor. BentProp team members concluded that the aircraft was in fact the Avenger, citing the following evidence. There are no other records of American aircraft having crashed in the vicinity. There was an intact Hamilton standard propeller forward of the nose. The vertical stabilizer is consistent with an Avenger. A violent separation of the tail section occurred, and the outer portion of the starboard wing was missing. These were all details that were given to our family just within the last few months. And to say that we have been absolutely astounded is not doing it justice. The BentProp project and their partners, Scripps, University of Delaware, are dedicated to fulfilling the sacred obligation of bringing home our nation's fallen. These gentlemen are here with us today. And I got to spend some time with them last night along with my family. And these guys are heroes of mine. What you guys are doing is unbelievable. And I'd ask that all of you join me in just giving these guys a round of applause. Thank you guys for not forgetting those who have served this great country and fought for the freedoms that we all enjoy. On the way home from the airport, Grand Rapids, the other day when we received Bud's remains, we're on the way home in a motorcade, we're behind the hearse, and I'm driving and I can see Bud's casket with the American flag draped over it. Mary Ann said, "I can't believe my brother is coming home." Sister Mary Ann was 14 when her brother was killed. That was 73 years ago. It's been clear to my siblings, my family, and me that Bud's memory and the sacrifice that he made were never, ever far from her heart. It's with this in mind that I'd like to ask my sister to come up here and read this brief poem entitled Never Forgotten.
Never forgotten. You'll never be forgotten. That simply cannot be. As long as I am living, I'll carry you with me. Safely tucked within my heart, your light will always shine. A glowing ember, never still, throughout the end of time. No matter what the future brings, or what may lie ahead, I know that you will walk with me along the path I tread. So rest, my angel, be at peace, and let your soul fly free. One day we'll join your glorious flight for all eternity.
After 9/11, I remember an influx of men and women who were enlisting in the military to serve. I imagine it must have been the same after the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Bud enlisted in the Navy just over a month, 42 days to be exact, after that attack. The English author Albert Pine said, "What we do for ourselves dies with us, but what we do for others in the world remains and is immortal." But we thank you for serving. We thank you for giving your life. There's no greater love than that. We will never forget. Welcome home.
Call me out upon the water, the great unknown, where feet may fail. There I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand, and I will call upon your name, and keep my eyes above waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your grace, for I am yours, and you are mine. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail, fear surrounds me. You never fail, and you won't stop now. So I will call upon your name, keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your grace. When I am yours, you are mine. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call. tonight of a place I love even more than I usually do. And although I know it's been a long road back, I promise you I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents round the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. So I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me.
Right. Pace. Ready. Aim. Fire. Ready. Aim. Fire. Ready. Aim. Fire. Detail. Left. Pace. Freeze it. March. Detail. Order. Arms. Shoulder. Arms. Detail. Right. Face.
And
Post.
mistletoe and presents round the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. So I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents round the tree. Christmas Eve only in my dreams.